Welcome to the John and Heidi Show podcast.
John and Heidi.
Here's John and Heidi.
Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show on this Wednesday, the 4th of July. Heidi, how you doing, baby?
Good. I love the 4th of July.
I do, too. This is my beautiful bride, Heidi, and the two of us get choked up watching the fireworks every year.
We do. We always cry.
We're like, oh, that's so beautiful. Looking forward to that. Hopefully everybody else has some fun plans. We do have an awesome guest for today, and this is one of my favorite guests because I've never had a chance to talk to him before, but Lee Greenwood. He's got the song God Bless the USA.
I love that song.
I promise I'll quit singing now. He is the one who sang that song back in the 80s, and he's been making me get misty to fireworks every year since. So I'm going to be chatting with him later in the program today, Lee Greenwood. And I got a quote here from Arthur Ashe. From what we get, we can make a living. What we give, however, makes a life. I love that.
Oh, yeah.
It's a great quote. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show on this Wednesday, the 4th of July.
John and Heidi.
If you're a business owner trying to do your own website, maybe it's time to get help. Or if you don't even have a website, it's definitely time for help. It's 2018. This internet thing is here to stay. At 49bydesign.com, we offer a simple plan to get you online for just $49 a month with no setup fee. This includes a website with the hosting and domain name included in the price. We have larger packages available, but this will get you online so people can find you in 2018. We're affordable by design at 49bydesign.com. That's 49bydesign.com.
John and Heidi.
Today is a special day, Heidi. Do you know what today is?
What is today, John?
I thought you'd never ask. It's Wednesday, the 4th of July, and today is Independence Day in the U.S. of A. It is also National Barbecued Spare Ribs Day. I did not know this. Did you know this?
No.
Why do we not celebrate this every year?
Not a huge fan of ribs.
You are a fan of this, National Caesar Salad Day.
I love Caesar salad.
Many people think that it's named for Julius Caesar, and it's not. Mm-hmm. The inventor of the salad, his name was Caesar. It was his salad, Caesar salad. So there you go. Now you know a little something you didn't know before on this 4th of July. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Wednesday.
John and Heidi.
Are you tired of high cable TV rates? Sign up for Dish today and get a $500 bonus offer while supplies last. Plus, lock in your price for 2 years guaranteed. Call All American Dish, your Dish authorized retailer now.
800-818-3967. 800-818-3967. That's 800-818-3967. Offers require credit qualification, 24-month commitment, early termination fee, and e-auto pay. Restrictions apply. Call for details.
John and Heidi.
Coming up, we've got your brain on drugs, but first, Heather Locklear voluntarily checked herself into rehab last week, and I think that's a good idea. If you've got an issue and you know that there's a problem, make sure you do take care of that. Now, I want to make sure that we talk about something briefly here. Many people will be celebrating today with Independence Day by having an alcoholic beverage or two. If you're doing that and you happen to be shooting off fireworks, that's a bad idea. Now, we don't have any stories today, but we will by the end of this week of people who were under the influence and then lost fingers or, hurt someone because they weren't thinking. When you're drinking, you're not thinking. So please keep those two things far, far, far apart. If you're playing with fireworks, do not be doing that under the influence. We're going to be talking about your brain on drugs coming right up.
This time of year, there are many parties, weddings, cookouts, and other events that often include alcohol. If you're drinking, be sure to have a designated driver. If you or someone you know has a problem with drugs or alcohol, there is help. The Addiction Hope and Helpline wants to help. If you feel like it's time to finally get the help you need, there's a toll-free number you can call, 1-800-438-0380. That's the Addiction Hope and Helpline, 1-800-438-0380, 1-800-438-0380.
And this is your brain on drugs. A quartet of fast food workers, that's four people, four people, worked at a Wendy's in Georgia. And I say worked because I'm sure they're not still there. They sold meth from the Wendy's, according to a police report. They raided the eatery and busted employees on narcotics charges. This is crazy. Why would you even think to do something like this? Investigators allege the employees sold small amounts of meth both in the parking lot and inside the restaurant in Georgia. It's a city called Canton, Georgia, about 40 miles north of Atlanta. Members of the Narcotics Task Force executed a search warrant while simultaneously arresting the restaurant's manager and a cook and
Oh my gosh.
2 other employees.
The manager was involved.
Yeah. Police say
Wow.
meth sales had been occurring for several weeks. The Wendy's location was closed during the police raid, has been reopened with, I'm sure new management.
I would hope so.
They are now 4 employees short, according to the story. So these people have all been fired. So bad idea. I don't quite understand. How would you even go about that? Did you want to biggie size that? No.
I would
you
really
like some
hope
meth?
that it was one of the other employees not involved that said, hey, this is going on.
You would hope so.
Yeah.
I don't understand why they thought that was a good plan. It was not. I'm sure you all know that now, but bad idea. It's what happens when your brain is on drugs.
John and Heidi.
Now, big screen, little screen. Real Housewives of New York, Luann de Lesper's was forced to cancel her cabaret show due to illness. So, there you go. I didn't know there was a cabaret show.
I don't even know who she is. So.
I wonder if that's code word for we only sold 7 tickets. She didn't say her illness. It was just that, people were allergic to buying tickets. That's what it was. I don't know. Hey, the divorced stars of HGTV's Flip or Flop have signed on to do another season together. Have we watched Flip or Flop? Have we seen that show? I know we've seen several HGTV. Which one is that? I remember Love It or List It. That's the one I kept thinking
Flip
of.
or Flop, isn't that the one where the 2 people ended up getting divorced?
They
the
did,
blonde chick and the Tarek or whatever his name was.
Is that's the one? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So they're signed on to the blonde chick. Heidi said that, by the way, not me. I want to make sure.
Christina. That's her name.
You got me. I don't know. Anyway, they're going to do another season together. I wonder how that's going to be, because now they're exes and they have to do a show together. Yeah. Sure hope that he or she don't bring their new, sweetheart to the set.
Yeah,
that would be a bad idea.
Awkward.
Like, hey, I had a skill saw accident in the back room. Sorry. Whoops. Thanks for listening to Big Screen, Little Screen on the John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
Now you can fly anywhere in the world and pay discount prices on your airline tickets. Book a flight today to London, Paris, Madrid, or anywhere else you want to go. And pay a lot less guaranteed. Call the International Travel Department right now at Low Cost Airlines.
800-719-5601. 800-719-5601. That's 800-719-5601.
Now, your scoop of the day, courtesy of 80sinthesand.com. Heading to Germany, where police arrested a man who sprinkled powder into the sandwiches at work and killed 21 colleagues. This story came out last week.
Powder? Just powder?
It was like, I don't know, it was rat poison, but he put some sort of poison.
I was going to say, it's just powder.
Killed 21 people.
Wow.
That is crazy. How did did you see that online anywhere last week?
No.
This happened last week. I don't remember seeing it anywhere. I don't know. We don't watch the news, so maybe it was in the news all over and I just missed it, but I don't remember seeing that. Sony Music has won the rights to distribute 35 previously unreleased Prince albums. So, Prince fans, 35 new albums coming out. And it was interesting because Prince was a very interesting guy in the fact that he has a lot of unreleased music. He's got a lot of different works that he did. While he was alive, he said, nope, not going to release it. Mm-hmm. And he did it kind of just for him. So now we're going to get a chance to see what those are. How amazing would it be if some of his best work comes from, after he's been gone? That'd be amazing. The nation's meteorologists are warning that the Northeast will experience a week-long heat wave. Yeah, they call that summer. Really? It's supposed to, according to this, get into the 90s. And here's my favorite, the hottest since 2016. That's 2 years ago. What a stretch.
It's summer.
It's the hottest since this time last year. Really? No, since this time 2 years ago. I think they're just kind of stretching. It's like they're trying to stay important here. Like, oh, hey, don't discount us. We're really important. Again, that's this big heat wave called summer that's coming. It's kind of here now. A survey by a company called Slick Deals, I've never heard of them, they found that 9 in 10 women think that saving money is sexy. Heidi, do you think saving money is sexy?
I love saving money.
Yeah, I know she does. As a matter of fact, she was just talking about somebody was having a sale, and you thought it was so cool because what?
My
No, what are you talking about? No.
I sent you a text. Remember I said 75% off. My are hard.
That's not what I was talking about. And I bleeped you twice now, so stop. No, that's not what The one where you were saying, how cool is this for Independence Day? They're 17.76.
Oh, 1776.
17.76%
off. An
like,
additional 17.76% off.
Oh, yeah. I don't know who it was, but I just thought that was kind of cool. 79% of people, by the way, say they don't mind if their partner uses coupons on a date. I think it's kind of cool. Can you imagine going on a first date and somebody whooping out a coupon? No, I'm going to have this, and she'll have the chicken fingers, and she's under 12.
Yeah, that I think on a first date.
Like, no, I'm not. Thanks for thinking I am.
On a first date, that would bother me. I'd be like, seriously?
It's Tuesday night. She's my daughter. Says kids eat free. Not a good first date is what you're saying?
No, not as far as I'm concerned.
Okay. Well, according to this, 79% of people say they don't mind if their partner uses a coupon on a date. Would you ask ahead of time, do you think? Is that the kind of thing that you should say?
No, you just don't do that on a first date. Okay. I mean, if you and I go out, we use coupons all the time. But we've also been married forever.
Yeah.
But a first date, that's not something you do on a first date. That's more of a
second date. Fifth date.
Fifth date kind of thing.
All right. Hey, I got one last story here. A small plane was forced to make a belly flop landing in Las Vegas last week.
Oh, I hadn't heard about this.
All 3 people on board. So it wasn't a huge, it was a little plane. So it wasn't like a big 747, just a little guy. But all 3 people on board were left unhurt, so nobody was hurt. The emergency landing occurred because the pilot could not get the landing gear to come down. So they said, well, we got to come down.
That happens.
And they couldn't get the landing gear to pop out, so they did a belly flop on the, I don't know if it was on the runway, or would they land that in the grass then?
I was doing a ride-along with my brother, who's a police officer, one night, and there was an emergency call that came in from a plane that had like 25 people on it.
Oh,
and the landing gear wouldn't come down, and we had to rush out to the airport, and all the fire trucks and everybody were out there, all the emergency vehicles. But at the very last second, the landing gear did come down, and nobody was hurt. But they were fully expecting a crash landing.
Well, this
was
happened
scary.
in Vegas. Vegas is a big airport, and luckily, again, nobody was hurt. This is going to do it for today's Scoop of the Day. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
Do you have ideas for t-shirt designs, but you don't have a clue how to print them? Or maybe you'd like to have t-shirts and coffee mugs available to buy online with your business logo printed on them. There's a website that makes it easy. We set ours up in about 10 minutes. There's no sign-up fee, no minimum orders, no monthly fees. It's just a really easy way to put some cool items online for sale, and you get paid every time somebody buys them. You don't have to print or ship anything. Just sign up, upload your designs, and then let people know where they can get your cool stuff. More details available at radiosavings.com. That's radiosavings.com.
John and Heidi.
Thank you so much for listening to the John and Heidi Show. We've got a very special guest joining us today, Lee Greenwood, and he is one of the best singers ever because he sings one of my favorite songs of all time, God Bless the USA. Lee, that song is so amazing. When you were recording that, did you realize how it was going to impact this nation?
Well, no, John. And as a matter of fact, it wasn't even designated as a single. Just to give you a little background, I joined MCA with Reba McEntire, George Strait, the Oak Ridge Boys, and Barbara Mandrell. And we were all pursuing our art heavily, touring heavily as artists, 300 days a year, as I recall, the first 4 or 5 years on the road. So it was just like we hardly were ever home. And I was writing a lot of songs for my albums during those years. We had to turn in 2 albums a year, which seems like ridiculous at this point. But they wanted an awful lot of music, and so I'd write most of it on my bus. And when I wrote God Bless the USA, it was just one of like 24 songs I'd written that year, and we turned it into the publishing company. But when we recorded it, some series of events took place where it wound up in the hands of the president of Universal. And although we'd already had a song for release in 1985, You Got a Good Love Coming off that album of the same name, they made the choice to release USA instead. So it was an interruption in my career because it wasn't a song that really flowed well for everything else we were recording, but it was a personal issue for me. I really wanted to honor America and kind of have something for us to, hold hands with and unite. And if you remember the thing Kenny Rogers had, Hands Across America.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, everybody was supposed to form a chain all across the United States. He and I had that same thought. How can we keep this country united in times of stress? And anyway, so I wrote USA just for that reason, and it was going to be on that album. And it did end up on that album, but it was then chosen as a single. So it surprised me, And it actually surprised me that the nation embraced it so heavily.
Well, it's one of my favorite songs, and on the 4th of July, this song gets played by, I think, every station in the country over and over and over. That's got to make you feel really good to tune into radio stations that don't even necessarily play that format, but they're playing your song. How does that feel when you hear that?
Well, it's very flattering, and of course, it's a nice calling card. And it's kind of cool when I take my boys with me. I have 2 sons now; they're 23 and 19, and both of them in college, and they grab a bunch of their friends, and we go out and watch a fireworks show in and around the July 4th weekend. I'm generally working, of course, and then like I either play it myself live, or we watch the fireworks show and they play it during their tribute to America with "God Bless America," "America the Beautiful," the national anthem, and so forth. And it's just kind of cool. They all kind of look at me like, "Dang, he wrote that."
The thing that's really cool is that now that is maybe one of the hits that you're most well known for, but by no means are you a one-hit wonder. You've got a lot of other hits as well, but this has just eclipsed everything else so much. Even if you hadn't had that song, you still would absolutely be very well known for all your other music. But what is it like to have that one song that just is a breakout, that in addition to it being a hit when it was released, it came back again in the 90s and came back again 10 years later, it just keeps coming back and coming back. That's got to be an amazing thing to see that song just take on kind of a life of its own.
Yeah, it does. And of course, it's generally in times of crisis, and that's kind of the sad thing. But on the other hand, if I can uplift the country, I mean, that's something I'd always want to do. We have a couple of charities that I work with, one of which is out of Houston, Texas, called Helping a Hero. And what we do is build homes for wounded warriors. And we built like 160 homes in 8 years in 22 states, and we'll continue to do that about one a month as we vet these soldiers that are so severely wounded in this war on terror. So when you talk about who I am and the song "God Bless USA," I walk the walk. I mean, I don't just accept that as a way to make money for the rest of my life. This is the way I dedicate my time in my life.
That's really cool. Well, thank you for doing all that you do, and again for doing what you do with Helping a Hero, and also just being there for people in their time of need. Like you said, sadly, a lot of the times when your song is a big hit is when our nation is going through something tough, but it's got to be just a great feeling to know that during those times when people need somebody to turn to, they turn to your song and they just crank it up and maybe feel good about being American.
Yeah, you'll never lose the scars of 9/11, which is the worst attack on American soil, given Pearl Harbor was a military offense. On the other hand, this is a time that's supposed to be celebrating now, and we'll celebrate America's independence in San Diego on July 4th.
Well, Lee, thank you again for taking the time to visit with us.
Well, it's my pleasure, and I hope you guys have a wonderful 4th of July week. We'll be on the road celebrating America.
Again, Lee Greenwood right there. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
If you're a business owner, you should consider using radio. Radio is a powerful tool. Over 90% of us listen to the radio each week. Imagine if this ad was talking about your business, helping you hit your goals. We can help. We can also create a fun jingle, too, to get people singing your song. When you put words to music, they're 9 times more memorable, and that makes radio work even better. Learn more at RadioReallyWorks.com. Radio jingles to help you get better results with the money you're already spending. RadioReallyWorks.com.
Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
Katharine Hepburn is the actress who won the most Oscars. Guess how many Oscars she won?
2.
No, 4. Guess how many she was nominated for?
4.
Well, she won 4. She was nominated for 12. So there you go. Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
Betty Davis had a fun line. It's like her most famous line. She said, "Fasten your seatbelts. It's going to be a bumpy night." It's in a movie called All About Eve. Betty Davis was the actress that got to say that. Couple of fun facts right there. These I was getting these from like a movie section. There's a lot of movie stuff in here. I'm going to go through some of these because some of these fun facts are not so fun. They're kind of just facts. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show on this Wednesday.
John and Heidi.
If you're a business owner trying to do your own website, maybe it's time to get help. Or if you don't even have a website, it's definitely time for help. It's 2018. This internet thing is here to stay. At 49bydesign.com, we offer a simple plan to get you online for just $49 a month with no setup fee. This includes a website with the hosting and domain name included in the price. We have larger packages available, but this will get you online so people can find you in 2018. We're affordable by design at 49bydesign.com. That's 49bydesign.com.
John and Heidi.
Time now for the grandiloquent word of the day, and today's word is kind of a weird word. It's ragraturing. Ragraturing. What do you think? Ragraturing. What do you think ragraturing
I have no
means?
idea.
I'm going to spell it because I can barely say it. Ragrowtering, and it's ragro, R-U-W. How would you say that? Ragraturing.
Okay, what does it mean?
Ragraturing is a noun. It says playing at romps and thereby rumpling, roughening, or tearing the clothes to rags. Playing the rogue in a wantic frolic, or playing at romps which makes rags grow. I don't know what that... I hadn't read the description and I don't get it. So I think what it means
That's what I was going to say.
Is fighting until your clothing gets torn, I think is what they're trying to say. Is that what they're trying to say?
I don't know.
I think that's what it is. So ragraturing is playing until your clothes get ripped.
Okay.
I think. I don't know. I have a headache on this one. Oh, this is a bad word. This is a tough word. It's today's grandiloquent word, ragraturing. Thanks for listening to The John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
Now you can fly anywhere in the world and pay discount prices on your airline tickets. Book a flight today to London, Paris, Madrid, or anywhere else you want to go. And pay a lot less guaranteed. Call the International Travel Department right now at Low Cost Airlines.
800-719-5601. 800-719-5601. That's 800-719-5601.
Now some weird news for you on a Wednesday. Police in Madison, Wisconsin say man professed plan to take an upskirt video of women was foiled when a shoe camera exploded on his foot. Yeah. This is the weirdest part. Police in Madison, Wisconsin say this guy comes walking in, 32-year-old man comes hobbling in to turn himself in, but he was not arrested because his video equipment broke. Therefore, he did not get any video footage. His camera's battery fizzled and exploded onto his foot, and his foot was injured when the battery exploded. Police say they counseled him on his actions and then released him because no video had been taken. Therefore, no law had been broken. A police spokesperson says authorities don't know why the man wanted to turn himself in. Police say the investigation continues. So, what a weird story.
Well, if he didn't do anything, I mean,
I understand.
He intended to, but he didn't.
Like, well, you didn't, so guess you're going to have to go now. He's like, okay, you know where I can find a new battery for this? No? Too soon? Never mind. All right, this has been today's Weird News.
John and Heidi.
Now, your moment of duh. Police and firefighters in Georgia have banned a man from calling 911 unless he's truly having an emergency. What a silly story here. 62-year-old William Backus has called more than 100 times in the last 3 years for 911. Police have issued a warrant for his arrest. Cobb County Fire Chief Randy Cryer says he calls us for things like getting him a glass of milk and retrieving his remote from across the room, getting his cell phone from the other room. He told the police and fire and paramedics have all responded to his homes far too many times for bogus calls, and it puts other people in unnecessary danger that could potentially need our services in a true emergency. The chief and the crews have all responded to every one of his calls so far, and there's been over 100 of them. So he keeps calling saying, no, it's really an emergency this time. And then they get there, and he's like, can you go in and grab me a glass of milk?
Sooner or later, what's going to happen is they're not going to come, and he's really going to need help.
It's like the boy who cried wolf. A wolf. And then there was no wolf, and then there really was, and they're like, yeah, there's no wolf. So, dude, you're only going to hurt yourself here. He's 62.
They should start charging him.
They should,
for those
absolutely.
stops.
They absolutely should.
Because it costs a fortune to...
And if there were some sort of repercussions, whether he gets arrested, they said there's been a warrant for his arrest for doing it, well, arrest him. If it's illegal.
I mean, know where he lives.
And if it's not illegal, make it illegal. I don't know. It's just a bad idea to abuse the system. Don't do that. Bad idea. That's why it's today's moment of duh.
This time of year, there are many parties, weddings, cookouts, and other events that often include alcohol. If you're drinking, be sure to have a designated driver. If you or someone you know has a problem with drugs or alcohol, there is help. The Addiction Hope and Helpline wants to help. If you feel like it's time to finally get the help you need, there's a toll-free number you can call, 1-800-438-0380. That's the Addiction Hope and Helpline, 1-800-438-0380, 1-800-438-0380.
John and Heidi.
Now, fake news or Florida? Heidi's got to try to discern whether this is the truth or if I'm just making it up. So you tell me, what do you think? A Florida Highway Patrol trooper arrested a Clearwater man for driving 140 miles per hour Sunday. Fake news or Florida?
I'm going to say Florida.
That is a true story. See, I thought maybe if I gave you that exact number, you wouldn't think it was true. So I'll read that story here maybe in a bit. We'll see this one. Fake news or Florida? A Florida man called police on his neighbor for spraying grass killer on his award-winning lawn. Fake news or Florida?
Florida.
Fake news. That one was fake news. I made that one up. So if that really truly happened in Florida, I apologize for just guessing, but I made that one up. So back to this other one. This dude on Sunday was driving, 28-year-old Dion Hendricks was driving 140 miles an hour. And then police, this is at 3 a.m., they went to turn him, they turned around to pull him over, and he slowed down to 70. Then he accelerated up to 100. So he was trying to apparently get away. He was supposed to be only going 55 miles per hour on that road. So he got himself in just a little bit of trouble that night. I've got a link to that story and to our fake news and all of that in the show notes at johnandheidishow.com.
John and Heidi.
This portion of the John and Heidi Show is brought to you by the John and Heidi Show. That sounds kind of funny, but it's true. Go to your local radio station and ask them to start carrying the John and Heidi Show. Here's the best part. They can carry the show for free. They play a couple commercials, but it doesn't cost them anything every month. So if you know a radio station that could use a little bit of help, send them our way. Send them to johnandheidishow.com. Again, johnandheidishow.com. We would love to do a radio program in your community. Then you could listen to the podcast and listen to us on the radio.
John and Heidi.
We always like to wrap things up around here with good news, and I think this is good news. You ready for some good news?
Mm-hmm, always.
Right. I am too. I think we need good news, especially, today. Today's a good day for good news. And this is a good one here. Good news comes your way courtesy of Odiva, the monthly subscription service just for the ladies. All of the details at radiosavings.com. A humble bus driver learned from past mistakes and saves a frantic mom on vacation. Take a listen to this. I think this is such a cool story. A Boston shuttle bus driver is being hailed as an extraordinary act of kindness for doing something he never would have done in his earlier days. Mark Trocio hopped off his shuttle bus on Monday to get a cup of coffee at a Dunkin' Donuts near Cambridge. Before he walked into the store, however, he spotted a purse that had been left on the sidewalk. He picked it up and rifled through the contents to see if he could find the owner's identification. He was stunned by what he found inside. In addition to a credit card and some airline tickets that had the name on it, he found $8,000 in cash that was in this purse just laying on the sidewalk. He said, there was a time in my life when I would have probably taken that money and not looked back. The former Marine spent 17 years in an unending battle with alcohol and drug addiction, but what he did next revealed his true character. He went inside the shop, hoping to find the purse's owner. Inside, he saw a mother weeping and being consoled by two teenage children. Recognizing her from the ID in the wallet, he called out her name and then handed it over to her. The emotional woman tried to reward him and offered him to at least pay for his coffee, and he turned that down and headed back out to the shuttle. Before he drove away, she noted the name of the bus company, and she called the employers to report his good deed. How cool is that?
Very cool.
If he had not returned the purse, the long overdue vacation would have ended in hardship. She also realized that his act of service was the perfect example of why she adores the city to this day. I think that's just a really cool story.
Absolutely.
So many times that story would have ended differently. Mm-hmm. That purse would have been either taken,
yep,
or that purse would have been handed over minus the $8,000 in cash.
Mm-hmm.
So super duper proud of this guy. There's a video. You can see him. He looks like a super nice guy as well. And I've got a link to that in our show notes if you want to read all about it, or if you want to watch the video. That's at johnandheidishow.com, and show notes is right up on the top of the page. Time to say goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, everybody. Have a great day. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Wednesday.